Okay, we're back from the break and ready to dive into the full episode of Little Giants, but with us on the line tonight, we've got our old buddy Dave from Dave's Pop Culture Podcast and Black Cat Shadow. Shout out to those guys. Been a while. Dave, welcome back to the show, man.
Always a pleasure to be back. How's it going?
It's going good. It's been too long. I feel like we haven't actually talked in a long time.
Yeah, I was looking at the last time that you came on my show, and I'm embarrassed to say it's been like 5 months. I have to rectify this.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a while. When's the last time you were on our show?
I think it was Halloween 2, right? So
Halloween
it was even
2?
longer.
Yeah, so in October. Yeah, it's been at least 7 months then. Wow, so I guess fill our audience in on what you've been doing lately, man.
What have I not been doing lately? I've been podcasting my heart out just like you guys. Living the dream. But more specifically, just been laying down with a whole bunch of classic horror movie interviews and Shoot the Breeze episodes. So mixing the comedy and the horror, which I'm happy to say both of you guys have come over and Shoot the Breeze. But I was thinking earlier, you have not came over to Shoot the Breeze together. So that's definitely coming soon.
That would be fun. Tell the audience a little bit about your Eddie Munster interview, because I listened to that one. I thought that was a great episode. Plus, just a really cool guest.
So I kickstarted this idea of doing classic horror movie interviews. And the idea was based on the idea that so many of my favorite horror icons have gone and passed, but their legacy must live on. So I've tracked down family members and brought them on the show. And one of the most recent ones, I was fortunate enough, I was able to get Butch Patrick, who played Eddie Munster in the Munster sitcom TV show. He was very limited with time, but I still was able to get him on the show. And we just kind of, Jed Bryan and myself, just picked his brain a little bit about how he kind of landed the role of a lifetime and what he's been doing since. Mm-hmm. So good episode. And, it's like a good 30 minutes. So check it out.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. I didn't respond to your text earlier, but I want to say, you didn't fool me with that little episode of I'm Done. I wasn't fooled in the least bit. I was waiting for the ball to drop the entire time, but I saw what you were doing there. In fact, I thought about bringing you on and playing a really mean trick and being like, hey man, this is the end of the podcast. We wanted to have you on the last episode, but, and like really like play it off and get JD involved. Cause he's a bit of a sociopath. Are you not, JD?
It's a mixture of being a sociopath and not caring about anyone but myself.
He would have totally played along and been like, yeah, this hasn't worked out. I'm really unhappy. And you would have been like, oh my God, this is awful. Yeah.
You think I would have fell for it?
I think so.
Oh, man. Okay.
I think JD is pretty good.
Well, just make me a promise that when you guys do quit, I can come be on the last show. As long as it's not too unexpected, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. You got it, man.
Deal.
Let's get into this thing. I'm ready to talk some Little Giants. This is a really fun movie, so... We begin with some X's and O's, and we see a water tower that says, welcome to Urbania. The screen says Urbania, Ohio, 1964, and we see a young Danny and Kevin O'Shea. Danny's bugging the crap out of his big brother, and you can see there's an age difference, there's a size difference by all standards, and then they pick teams here next, and Danny's not taken, and Kevin tells him to look at it my way. It's just that I'm so good, it makes you look really bad. So Danny walks off the field and Kevin tells him to look at that water tower, and one day our name is going to be up there. The O'Shea brothers. We're going to own this town, buddy. You and me. We cut to present day and there's now a statue of Kevin on the field, and we meet one of our lead actors, Ed O'Neill. JD, what's your favorite Ed O'Neill role and why is it Married with Children?
Obviously, Al Bundy is an icon to anybody and everybody that has ever been disappointed by sports and life, and at the same time excelled at sports and life. I mean, how in the world does he own a house in or outside Chicago on a woman's footwear salary? What in the world? His wife doesn't work. He's got kids. They got the dog. He's got everything he could ever want, and at the same time, he has nothing.
He's a Polk High legend, 3 touchdowns in one game. Don't you ever forget that. Number 44. Number 44 in our hearts. Now, we see Icebox lay out Zoltek in the next scene here, and it looks like he might be hurt because we see some kind of like splatter on his forehead, but when they take off the helmet, we find out it's a grape jelly from the peanut butter and jelly sandwich in his helmet, and Kevin tells him he's not going to get anywhere treating his helmet like a lunchbox. But says, there's also these Cheetos in here. Kevin's like, are they crunchy or puffed? Puffed. Ah, you wimp. So they line up and catch some passes next. We see Heyman drop a pass from Kevin, who says he's got hands like frying pans. And then Heyman walks to the end of the line and starts talking to his hands. He's like, I trim your nails, I wash you, put gloves on you when you're cold. And then they break off to start running some 40-yard dashes here. And this part cracks me up. It's Zoltek, and just hearing him run as he's going, he's like, and he's just trying to get to the finish line here. And he goes up to Kevin and says, what was my time, coach? Like, I don't know, son. I don't have a sundial. Get to the back of the line. Dave, what do you think of these scenes?
These scenes are awesome. I had a hard time not cracking up myself just listening to you explain it. I love the way that you kind of get an idea of how each of the characters are. You see pretty much what are considered their flaws, at least so far into this movie. And I think growing up playing sports, which is the reason why I love doing these kind of films with you guys, we were all in these groups. Not saying this was us particularly, but we knew these people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know a kid that sounded exactly like that running down the field.
Oh, that was definitely me in my youth. I was in the B team for sure. It wasn't until I hit puberty that I became the man that you both know and love.
Sure. JD, let's talk about Danny O'Shea, played by the great Rick Moranis. Archives, Ghostbusters, great episode. Thoughts on Rick here as the little brother?
Well, first of all, he has so much chest hair that is just showing off like a freaking arugula field.
He's very Robin Williams-esque, is he not?
What is going on with that? Just the low-cut shirt and the chest hair, like all the way up to his nose. I would say, is he really the younger, less masculine brother?
That's a good point. Now, I guess that's a new discussion. I mean, is chest hair masculine? If so, I'm in good shape. Dave, what do you think?
I'm out.
Why? Because you shave?
No, I just have that fortunate ability where I don't grow excessive hair everywhere, so I don't have to shave.
Is that a fortunate ability?
I'm happy with it. It's less work.
Yeah, that's true. You got
I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna pause you really quick. It's less work, meaning that if you did have chest hair, you would shave it and trim it.
This is a losing conversation, isn't it?
It is.
Then I'm going to say yes.
All right, well, let's listen to our first clip of all the kids getting announced. So the final shot is the water tower, now saying home of the O'Shea brothers. Dave, what do you think about the end of the movie?
Pretty unpredictable for me as a kid, not really knowing what's going to happen, but watching it as an adult, clear as day. And, you know, everybody already has everything, but the one thing that he didn't have was that fulfilled promise. And so I think it's a perfect ending.
Yeah, I like that he kind of makes up with his big brother, and you know, we're gonna have our happy ending. I gotta ask, JD, do you think that could ever happen with your brother?
No, absolutely not. No, okay. There's no happy ending involved there.
No.
What about you with your brother?
No, not happening. He's not a sport guy either. It's not. You see, that's why this is a movie. Real life, I'd be like, hey man, you want to help me coach? He'd be like, what's your name again? Oh, God damn it. He still doesn't know my name. So the movie's 25 years old, man. It's hard to believe it's that old. How do you think this is held up, JD?
You have to watch and understand it as two different personas. There's seeing it as a kid and then seeing it as an adult. And as an adult, I kind of think that it doesn't hold up in the regards of there's no way the Little Giants win. Let's be honest.
Right.
Like, the three of us, we've all played football. We know how it works. We know how it operates. I'm sorry, just because you meet John Madden does not mean that you're magically excellent at sports. Like Spike, he would be running a touchdown every single time, intercepting every single pass. I don't know. So for me, it was just sort of like, I was like, okay, like I get what they're doing, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I think in real life, this game probably ends about 63-7. With the Cowboys letting them get one late so they feel good in real life. Dave, what do you think, though? 25 years old, man.
To me, it stands the test of time. Reality aside, it's a Mighty Duck movie.
Yep.
I love it. It gives me the same feel-good feelings I had. And the funny thing is I rewatched it today because I really felt like I needed to be more prepared, and I didn't even need to. I remembered everything about it, every line, and it was just as great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does have that really great ending, a lot like Heavyweights does, a lot like D2 and D1, even D3 to a certain extent. That's a different story for a different episode, though, because we got to have you on to complete the trilogy, my friend.
Oh, I would be more than honored. And we can't even leave out Sandlot. All these movies are so great.
Yes. Yep. Sandlot, same thing. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on the show. This is a really fun episode. I really love this movie. I gotta buy it. It's $20 on eBay to buy this movie. I mean, Disney, can we get a special edition at least for $20? Come on. What are we doing here? Actually, you know what? That's the one thing I want to talk about. Did you guys know this was Warner Brothers growing up? I always thought this was Disney.
I'm with you. Even now, I thought it was still Disney.
Yeah, it feels like a Disney movie. It's not. It's Warner Brothers and Amblin, produced by Spielberg.
I would love to jump in. I knew it was Warner Brothers. You know why?
The VHS.
I had this clamshell VHS tape, but if anybody else has it, the reason that you know it's a Warner Brothers is because before the movie starts, they actually play a little cartoon about 5 minutes before, and it's got the little dancing frog on there.
Yep, we actually talked about that before we brought you on. In the beginning part. But yeah, that's one of the really cool things about that. And that's what I had. I had the clamshell just like you, and hello, my darling, hello, my babies, something like that.
Hello, my primetime gal.
Yeah, that was a little Jesse Pinkman there.
Yo, bitch.
All right, well, Dave, tell our audience where they can follow you and where they can check out your show, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back on. I know I asked to be a part of this episode. I have no problem saying that. I love these 90s sports movies, and it's always fun to talk with you guys about them. But if anybody likes what they hear and they want to come see what I got going on, I surface on 2 podcasts. I have my own podcast where you're going to hear me weekly. It's Dave's Pop Culture Podcast, or Dave's PCP if you abbreviate it. It's available on all platforms except YouTube, but I'll get it there eventually. And I cover anything from horror, science fiction, comic books and cartoons, even Turner Classic Movies. And sometimes when I bring these guys on, we just say a lot of bad words and make you laugh till you pee yourself.
Shoot the breeze, man. We're looking forward to being on the show soon. Like, for real, dude. Like, where's our invite?
I gave it to you on this episode. I don't know if it was cut from one of your previous takes, but I can see it right now. Dave and the Back in Time podcast, Shoot the Breeze.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
It's going to get real weird real quick.
Wait till they see our text messages.
Oh, gosh. Let's wrap it at that before we lose everybody that likes this show. Thank you for downloading today. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and YouTube. You can follow us on Back in Time Pod, where JD's writing a daily blog on there. Check it out. Very cool. A lot of cool articles. And as always, follow us on social media at Back in Time Pod. I'm at KAutry29. JD's at Unjust Justin. And we are out of time. Time to get back into the DeLorean, punch in today's date, maybe jump into the John Madden mobile and head for Ken. We're out.
Self-acting and acting. Boom.